Good morning and welcome, everyone. We sincerely apologize for the delay in starting this morning due to technical difficulties we were experiencing at the Civic Center. Today is March 31st. Some housekeeping matters.
Hi, Hannah. Can you give us an update from your end?
Gary, we have started. Members, can you hear me? Try now. Can you hear me? They can't hear me. So, members of the committee, can you hear me? No. For those listening in and
I
watching,
didn't want to be here past 4 o'clock today, but
Ooh.
so this late start is hard.
Is Henna not able to speak? Henna, are you?
I think she's signaling that she can hear us, but
I can hear Gary, but I could hear Hannah.
hi, it's Gary again. Hannah, can you give us some update or send us an email as to what
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing.
Members of the committee, any one of you, can you please tell me if you can hear me? Just maybe Gary, could you please confirm if you can hear me? Can you unmute yourself, Gary, and let me know if you can hear me? Muhammad, Anne, Amy, any one of you, could you please unmute yourself and or even share your video? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Gary, is that a yes? Hello? Maybe Amy, are you listening in? Amy, can you hear me? Gary, can you hear me? Gary, can you hear me?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Are any members able to hear us?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. This is Mohammed.
This is Terry. I can hear you.
I can hear you. It's Ann.
Please turn on your videos, good members. Thank you.
Members of the committee, can you please switch on your videos? Perfect, thank
I
you.
believe we all have them on, yeah.
Thank you. We couldn't see because the screen wasn't showing. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for your patience. We apologize again for the delay in starting this morning due to technical difficulties we're experiencing here at the Civic Center. Today is March 31st. Some housekeeping matters before we begin our hearing today. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto Committee of Adjustment, virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed onto the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer or a phone or a tablet. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. All registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you mute all of your personal devices, including the YouTube stream, when you're not speaking, to prevent transmission of background noise and minimize disruption to the meeting. Please unmute your computer microphones before speaking. Please ensure to mute the YouTube streaming while you are speaking. The hearing will take at a slower pace. Each item will be stated, and then a moment will be given to allow everyone time to find their place. Please write down the WebEx meeting access code at attendee ID from your WebEx meeting invitation and keep it nearby for quick reference. If you're experiencing lag or audio issues, please disconnect and call into the hearing and enter the information. Please call into the hearing with the phone number that you have registered with so that staff can recognize your number and unmute you when your item comes up. Before we begin our hearing, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Toronto is now called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for minor variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw, permissions to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consents to create new lots. To ensure a fair and a timely hearing, I will vet the agenda to determine which applications can be dealt with immediately and which applications require a more in-depth review. When an application is uncontested, the agent or the applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or the agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or the agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those who are entitled to the notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or in opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Please ensure to include all your remarks or concerns that you may have. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. If there are several speakers sharing the same view, please select a spokesperson to present the group's opinion. We certainly want to hear your views. However, covering the same points will not advance your cause. Please be advised that all participants at the hearing today will be given a chance to speak before the committee moves on to the applicant for a rebuttal or a response to the concerns. The chair will advise if there are any questions for the participants. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. Please note that unless committee members have any questions, the participants will not get a chance to rebut the applicant's response. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Members of the committee, you have received minutes of the last meeting from March 11. I would like to have a motion to confirm and adopt the meeting minutes. May I have a mover? Member M.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I put forward a motion of approval of the meeting minutes from last hearing.
May I have a seconder? Member Saeed?
Madam Chair, I move the motion for approval of minutes. I second the motion actually for approval of minutes of meeting dated March 11.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried and the minutes from the last meeting have been confirmed and adopted. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest, panel members or staff? I see none on the screen, but I would like to declare that I do have an interest, declare an interest on item number 5. Item number 5 is for 19 Oak Ridge Drive, and the architect and the agent is an acquaintance of mine, so I declare that conflict. I will step away when the matter is being vetted or being heard, and I would request Member Macaulay to chair that item for me, please. Thank you. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral at the meeting today?
Through the chair, we have six deferral requests for your consideration.
We'll go one by one.
Yes. The first one is item 12, 28 Lehan. It's a deferral request from the applicant to allow time for the owner to discuss variances with the ward councillor and to come to a resolution.
Thank you, Colin. Members of the committee, there's a request for deferral for item 12, and that is 28 Lehan Drive. I will check in with the agent of the application. Mr. Yasu Somalingam, are you with us, sir?
Yeah,
Thank you.
but for sure,
Hello?
so don't check the first agent code because he may have done wrong there. So I don't want to open that pin now.
Yasu, we can hear you. Yasu, we can hear you. Okay, so Yasu, I would like to check in with you. There's a request of deferral from you. Could you please confirm?
No. Okay. That's
I'm repeating, Yasu.
time. Check clearly how did it close 8 Cross Hill? It's a
I guess we can, last call, Yasu, last call.
That's his.
hello?
Hi, Yasu.
Yeah, so they can hear everything you're saying on video.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so you're live.
I don't know.
Yeah, so can you speak to me, please? Hello? Okay, so let's do this. Let's park this item for a moment. We will come back to it after we've dealt with all the deferral requests, okay? All right, let's move to the next deferral request, and we will come back to item 12 again. So Yasu, if you're listening in, please make sure your YouTube stream is off and you are not speaking to anybody else except the committee today at this point. So the next item for deferral?
Through the chair, the next item is item 15, 84 Layton Avenue. It's a request for deferral by the applicant to allow time for the owner to address urban forestry issues.
Thank you. Members of the committee, we have a deferral request for item 15, 84 Layton Avenue. Staff, could you please confirm if Leo is there? Perfect. Leo, you're with us?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, good morning. So Leo, we understand
Good
you
morning.
requested for deferral to address certain matters. Would you wish to say anything at this point?
No, I'd like to just mention that we just received this on March 24th, and we did deal with planning. We submitted our application in October, and we just got this memo from Urban Forestry on the 24th, so it didn't give us enough time to address their concerns. So I just need some time to deal with them.
Okay, thank you for confirming that, Leo. Members of the committee, you heard the agent's request for deferral. Any comments at this time? I see none. All right, if there are no questions or comments, may I please have a motion on the request for deferral for item 15, 84 Layton Avenue. Member M.
Hi, Madam Chair. I'll put forward a motion for deferral sign die for item number 15.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Member Gary?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would second that motion to defer sine die.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 84 Layton Avenue has been deferred sine die. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next request for deferral, Colin?
Through the chair, a deferral request for item 16, 17 Shandon Avenue. The applicant failed to post a sign on the property 10 days before the hearing and provide the prescribed materials in accordance with the Planning Act.
Thank you, Colin. Staff, do we have the agent here with us, Faisal Ahmed? Okay, thank you. We also have registered Victor and Bibi Aladdin as the neighbor. Are you with us, Victor and Bibi?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. So, Bibi, you heard that the applicant has requested for a deferral of this application because the sign on the property was not posted in accordance with the requirements. Do you have any comments at this time?
Would there be another hearing, I would suppose?
Yes. So if the matter is deferred today, there will be another hearing scheduled and you will receive the notice.
Okay, I guess I can speak on it at that time.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Members of the committee, we have a request for deferral for the reasons that was mentioned by Colin. Any questions or comments? I see none. If there isn't any, may I have a motion? Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I recommend deferral of this application, sine die.
Thank you. Seconder, please.
Madam Chair, I second the motion for deferral of item number.
Thank you. Member
16.
Said seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application for 17 Shandon Avenue has been deferred sine die. Thank you. The next request for deferral, Colin?
Through the chair, the next request for deferral is item 18, 2229 Kingston Road. The deferral request is because one of the requested variances was incorrectly identified on the public notice.
Thank you for confirming that. Staff, do we have Rob Lavacia with us? Rob, you're with us?
I'm here, yep,
Thank you. Good morning.
I'm here.
So,
morning.
Rob, would you like to have, would you have any comments on your request for deferral?
No, I have no comments.
Okay, all right. So, members of the committee, we have a request for deferral for 2229 Kingston Road. Any question or comment? I see none. May I have a motion, please? Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion for deferral of item number 18, 2229 Kingston Road, Sanadai.
Thank you. Seconder, Member Gary.
Madam Chair, I second that motion to defer this matter sine die.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. Application for 2229 Kingston Road has been deferred sine die. Colin, another request?
Through the chair, the next deferral request is for item 19, 162 Harewood Avenue. Same reason. One of the deferral requests is because one of the requested variances was incorrectly identified in the public notice.
Thank you. Do we have the owner with us, Jeremy Smith? Jeremy?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have any comment on your request for deferral at this time?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I also have a list of registered speakers with me. I will confirm we have Glenn Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. We have Mark and Kerry McKenzie.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Yes.
thank you very much. And Janet May.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. So, thank you for taking the time today to come out to speak on this matter. But as you heard, there's a request for deferral from the applicant. From staff. Sorry, there's a request for deferral from staff because the variance was not included on the notice.
It was incorrectly identified in the
Thank
notice.
you. Thank you. It was incorrectly identified on the notice, so staff is requesting a deferral so that proper notice be given with the accurate variances. Is there a concern at this time from either Glenn, Mark, or Janet? So we'll start with Glenn.
Will we receive a varied notice?
Yes, you will get another notice. Should the matter be deferred to another meeting, you will receive a notice again.
Is there any idea of the timeline?
We do not have any idea of this.
Through the chair, it will be considered. A notice has been sent out. It will be considered at the April 29th hearing. April 22nd hearing, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
So keep an eye out in your mailbox for it.
Okay, perfect. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Mark and Kerry, any questions on the deferral request?
Questions, and I'll go with Glenn, and I'll wait for April the 22nd.
Thank you very much. Janet May?
We have no problems. We also noticed the inconsistency, so we're happy to support a deferral.
Okay, thank you very much for your time today. Members of the committee, you've heard there's a request for deferral. Any questions or comment? I see none. If there aren't any, can I have a motion, please? Member M.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I put forward a motion of deferral sine die to allow for the proper notification.
Thank you. Seconder?
Madam Chair,
Yeah, Member Macaulay,
sorry,
go ahead.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
All right, Member Macaulay seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application has been deferred and will be heard on April 22nd hearing. Thank you. Next request for deferral, please.
Through the chair, the next request for deferral is item 24, 18 McCowan Road. The reason for the deferral request is the applicant failed to post a sign on the property 10 days before the hearing in accordance with the Planning Act and provide the prescribed information.
Okay, thank you very much for confirming that. Do we have the agent Faisal? Okay, Faisal is not with us. We have Robert Everett listed as a neighbor.
Floor area.
Robert Everett.
0.6, and I'm proposing 0.7.
Hello?
That's Robert Lavecchia.
Okay, can we have Robert Everett? Okay, all right. We do not have Robert Everett with us online. Staff has just confirmed and checked the list. Okay, members of the committee, the request for deferral for the failure to post a sign in accordance with the Planning Act requirements. Any questions or comment? I see none. May I have a motion, please? Member Gary?
Madam Chair, to allow proper notice to be given, I move that this matter be deferred sine die.
Thank you very much. Seconder, please. Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second this motion for deferral of item 24.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application for 18 McCavan Road has been deferred sine die. Thank you. Next request for deferral.
Through the chair, you may wish to consider going back to item 12, because those are all the deferral requests. Just, there are 6 in total.
Okay, thank you very much for confirming. So we will go back to item number 12 again for 28 Lehan Drive. And Yasu, are you with us?
Yes, Madam Chair. Sorry about the confusion here.
No problem.
We would like to get deferred. The councillor has some questions on this application, as well as I believe he received some 1 or 2 neighbors have some questions too. So we need some extra time to meet the councillor and the neighbor to resolve the matter and then come back to the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for confirming that with us. We have with us registered Brian Milne as the neighbor. Is Brian with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning, Brian. So do you have any question with regards to the request for deferral?
No, it's going to be deferred and we'll receive another notice, correct?
That is correct. You will receive another notice.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, members of the committee, we have a request for deferral to allow the applicant additional time to address some matters. Is there any question or concern at this time? I see none. May I have a motion, please? Member Saeed, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before moving the motion, I also thank you, Yasu, for he's trying to resolve the issues, addressing the matter with the councillor as well as with the neighbors. That's a good gesture. With that, I would like to move the motion for deferral of item number 12.
Thank you. All seconder, please. Member M.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application for 28 Lehan Drive has been deferred sine die. So that brings us to the end of the requests for deferral. I will now vet the agenda. I will call each item in the order that is listed on the agenda and ask if anyone other than the agent or the applicant is present in interest and wishes to address the committee. I will not do the roll call while I'm vetting the agenda unless it's necessary for some reason. If there are people in interest, the matter will be held until all non-contested applications have been cleared from the agenda. If there is no person is present in interest, the agent or the applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee will ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. So I'll just pull up my agenda. Give me a moment. So the first item on the agenda is 19 Arbutus Crescent. 19 Arbutus Crescent is a minor variance application, and we have the agent, Jonathan Biskowski is the agent. Jonathan, you're with us?
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Members of the committee, any questions or would you like to have a presentation from Jonathan at this time? I see none. Yes, I will. Yes. Jonathan, would you like to make a presentation at this time or comment or have any comments on your application?
I think all I would say is this is a deferred item to deal with the councillor. There has never been any planning objection to this. As a result of speaking with the councillor, we did reduce the coverage as well as eliminate side yard setback requests.
Okay, thank you.
And now, as you can see, we do not have any objection from Councillor Thompson.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. And just for record, we also have 17 letters of support on file. Just wanted to put that on record. So members of the committee, you heard Jonathan on his comments on his application. Any questions or comments? I don't see any. Member Said, is that a question or a comment, or are you prepared for a motion?
Just a comment. Thank you very much for Jonathan taking this matter with the consular, resolving all the issues. And I understand there was no technical issues involved there. I will be very much willing to support this item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A motion, please. Member Said.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would like to move the motion for approval of item number 1, and there are no conditions attached to that.
And there are no urban forestry conditions as well. Okay, all right.
Yes, Madam Chair, you are right.
Thank you very much. May I have a seconder? Member M, please go ahead.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
All right, Member M seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application for 19 Arbutus Crescent has been approved.
Thank you, panel.
We now move to item number 2. Item number 2 is for 905 Middlefield Road. And there are several speakers listed for this item. So this matter will be held and we will come back to it in the main body. So item number 2, 905 Middlefield Road has been held for further discussion. We now go to item number 3. Item number 3 is 55 Bakerton Avenue. And I have been advised just a few minutes ago that the agent will not be able to attend the hearing. I do not see any list of speakers for this item. Members of the committee, would you like to deal with this matter today, or do you have any questions that you have for the applicant? Member Said?
Madam Chair, I have been to the site just to have a look. And technically speaking, there is no issue to that, although the agent is not present today, but I feel if the other members are okay, we can proceed with that.
Thank you for that. Other members, any comments? Okay, I see none. All right. If there are no further comments, can I please have a motion on this item? Item 3, 55 Bickerton. Member Said, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I will move the motion for approval of item number 3, subject to the community planning comments on that.
All right, so we have a condition recommended from community planning, and there's a motion on the floor to approve the application subject to that condition. Seconder, Member M.
I'd like to second that motion, Madam Chair, and the condition is just to tie the construction to the drawings. And I support this just because it allows accessibility and aging in place.
Okay, thank you very much. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 55 Bakerton Avenue has been approved, subject to the condition of community planning staff report dated March 25th. Thank you. We now move to item number 4. Item number 4 is for 281 Livingston Road. And I do see there is a speaker in opposition. So we will hold down this item and come back to it in the main body. So both the agent and the neighbor listed, this matter is being held for further discussion. We now move to item number 5. This is a conflict of interest for me, so I am going to step away and I will request Member Macaulay to deal with this matter, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is an application for 19 Oak Ridge Drive. Is the applicant in attendance?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'm just checking to see whether we have any other comments on that one.
Through the chair,
We have a number of other people on item number 5. I believe we will have to hold it down because to allow them an opportunity to speak. I have a motion to
Well, actually, we don't, through the chair, you don't need to, you don't need to have a motion. That's fine. It just, it'll, through the chair, you just may wish to advise the applicant and the speakers that because there are speakers, this will be held, this item will be held and will be dealt with later on in the hearing.
Thank you. The applicant and the speakers, you heard that we are going to hold this and allow you an opportunity to discuss this later on in the meeting. We will continue to proceed with our vetting of the meeting, and the chair will be coming back and taking over again.
Thank you, Member Macaulay. We will now move to item number 6. Item number 6 is for 34 Springbank Avenue. And we do have a list of speakers registered to speak on this application. So the agent and all the speakers who have registered for item 6 for 34 Springbank Avenue, please be advised that this matter is being held for further discussion when we get to the remainder of the hearing. Thank you. So item 6 is being held. Item number 7, 45 Cree Avenue. Again, this item has a few registered speakers who would like to speak to this item. So we are going to hold down this item and come back to it for the remainder of the hearing. So 45 Cree Avenue, item 7 is being held for further discussion. Item 8, 5 Parkview Heights. This is a minor variance application, and we have the agent registered with us, Peter Lux. Peter, are you with us?
I am, yes.
Thank you. Would you like to make a presentation or have any comments on this before I proceed to the members?
I don't think so. We have gone back and forth with Katrina on this. There's a few adjustments that we had made to the property. Those were addressed, so I don't think there was anything on there. I do live in the neighborhood and have for many years, and know most of the neighbors. And I did submit a letter from the neighbors for approval.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Peter, we do have letters of support, 11 letters of support on file. So just for record, I want to state that. So members of the committee, any questions for Peter at this time? This is a minor variance application, and we have 8 variances on this application. I see none. All right. If there are no questions or comments, may I please have a motion? Member Said.
Madam Chair, the variance before the committee, I believe they are minor, and I move the motion for approval of item number 8, and there are no conditions attached to this.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member M.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 5 Parkview Heights has been approved, and there are no conditions. Thank you. We now move to item number 9. Item number 9 is 393 Victoria Park Avenue. And we have speakers, but they're listed as support. There's no opposition. There's one it's not on the list though. Item 9, agent owner support.
Yes.
Okay.
Through the chair, you are correct. It looks like there's one speaker in support.
Okay, I will check with the speaker if they wish to speak, or unless the matter is held, then that's another story, but let me check. So we have members of the committee, we have one registered speaker, and I will check in if that speaker would like to speak or not. But before I do, we have the agent, Shahid.
Yes, I am here.
Thank you very much. We also have
Yes.
thank you, Shahid. Just stay with us for a moment. We also have Robert Borden, the owner.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. We have Janelle Francisco as a neighbor who has registered to speak in support. Janelle, are you there?
I'm an occupant of 393 Victoria Park Avenue.
Okay, all right. So, are you going to speak to this matter, or are you here just in support?
I'm here in support. I do not need to speak.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Members of the committee, 393 Victoria Park Avenue. You have the application before you, minor variance application, and there are 7 variances. Any questions or comments for either the agent or the owner at this time? Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't see there is any opposition to this application, neither there is any technical issue, but Shahid, there is a condition from the urban forestry, condition number 2. If you are aware of that and you have the intention to show compliance to that, I am very much willing to support that.
So Shahid, are you with us?
Yes.
So are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
okay? You're aware of the condition of urban forestry. Do you have any concern with that condition?
No issues at all about it.
Okay, thank you very much for confirming that.
Thank you.
So, Member Saeed, would you like to put forward a motion or? Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Shahid, for confirming you have the understanding about urban forestry condition. So, Madam Chair, I would like to move the motion for approval of item number 9, subject to the urban forestry condition.
All right, and we have a seconder, Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and application for 393 Victoria Park Avenue has been approved subject to condition of urban forestry. Thank you. Okay, moving to item 10. Item 10 is 263 Blantyre Avenue. And we have a list of speakers who have registered to speak in opposition to the application. So we will hold down this item and come back to it for further discussion. So all speakers who have registered and the agent, please be advised this matter is being held. 263 Blantyre Avenue. We now move to item 11. Item 11 is 55 Homestead Road. And for this one as well, we have the neighbor, one neighbor who has registered to speak in opposition. So this matter is also being held. So for record, 55 Homestead Road is being held for further discussion. Next item on the list, item 13, 121 Ellington Drive. 121 Ellington Drive, we have the agent Yasu listed with us. Thank you. Yasu, you're with us?
Yes, Madam Chair, Yaso here.
Thank you. Yasu, do you have any comments on your application or would you like to present to the committee?
Okay, so we had discussion with the council and we have removed the item number 5 as he requested. So on that record variances, we have removed the item number 5 and the rest of the variances we are going with that. And we discussed this already with the planning and they have no objection on this.
Okay, thank you, Yasu. Yes, we did receive that intimation that variance number 5 related to the maximum permitted area for the platform has been removed. So members of the committee, we have a modified application before us. So variance number 5 is being removed by the applicant. Any comments or questions for Yasu at this time? Member Saeed.
Chair Yasu, how many trees are going to be injured or removed on the property?
As far as I'm concerned, at this time, we are not, but definitely we'll be putting Abro's report and we'll be going through with the, we will be running this one through with the urban forestry before we do any further application.
Okay, so there is a
Thank you,
condition of
Yasu.
urban forestry.
There is a condition of urban forestry, condition number 3. So That's good. You will be taking up this matter with urban forestry. So, Madam Chair, I don't see there the variances mentioned over here are minor. So I am willing to support this application.
Is that a motion or is that a comment?
This is a comment actually. If the other members of the committee are okay with
Okay.
that, and with your permission, I can move it.
Okay, let me check. Members of the committee, any further comment? Member Gary, you had your hand raised.
I was just going to say, in my opinion, the four tests are met here, Madam Chair, and I'd be supportive of the application.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please? Member Said.
Madam Chair, I move the motion for approval of application number 13, subject to the condition of urban forestry.
Can you may I have a seconder, please? Oh, okay.
Through the chair, the committee may wish to, given that the applicant has removed variance number 5, it should be approval subject to urban forestry conditions as amended, or approve as, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Sorry, approved as amended, subject.
Subject to condition. Okay, so Member Said, since the application was modified, so you may want to add that to your motion, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Secretary. I revise, I amend my motion. This is a motion for approval of item number 13 as amended, subject to the condition of urban forestry.
Thank you. We may I have a seconder? Gary?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second that motion to approve, subject again to the urban forestry conditions as amended.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion carries. Application for 121 Ellington Drive as modified has been approved, subject to condition of urban forestry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Moving to item 14, this is 260 Ingleton Boulevard, and we do have a long list of speakers on this item. So the agent, the architect, and all those who have registered to speak for item 14, 260 Ingleton Boulevard, please note that the matter is being held for further discussion, and we will come back to it. Item 14 being held. Item 17, 16 Kilmarnock Avenue. We have with us Christine Aruda. Christine, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Christine, would you like to have any comments on your application or make a presentation?
Yes, sure. Just a few things. So the proposal is for a 3-story home, and the design requires 5 variances, mainly due to height, and also we're required to remove 2 boundary trees, a permit and the other is not a permit. So we've received conditional approval from forestry as well as written approval from our neighbor to remove those.
Okay, so there are 2 conditions of urban forestry that we have been provided with. Are you aware of those conditions, and do you have any concerns with those?
Yes, we're aware, and no concerns.
Okay, thank you. And I also want to check there, for record, we have 7 letters of support that we have received. Members of the committee, any questions for Christine at this time? I see none. All right. If there are no further questions or comments, may I please have a motion on this application? There are conditions of urban forestry. Member Macaulay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recommend approval of this application, subject to the conditions of urban forestry. I understand that the applicant may have already discussed these with urban forestry, in which case it would be very easy to get them to sign off on this item. I recommend approval, subject to conditions of urban forestry.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member M?
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. Application for 16 Kilmarnock Avenue has been approved, subject to conditions of urban forestry. Thank you. The next item on the list is item 20. Item 20 is for 164 Sedgemount Drive. And we have two neighbors who have registered to speak. So the owner and the neighbors who've signed in, please note that this matter is being held for further discussion. We will come back to it. Item 20 is being held. Item number 21, 2377 Kingston Road. We have with us Jason Fung as the agent.
Hello, Madam Chair.
Hello. So, Jason, do you have any comments on your application at this time, or would you like to present?
We can present, yeah, sure.
Okay, so please go ahead. You have 5 minutes. Before I do that, members of the committee, any questions or comments? We'll take that after the presentation. Thank you. Please go ahead, Jason.
Thank you. If you take a look at sheet A03, all we're proposing is one additional commercial unit to the side of an existing two-story commercial building off of Kingston Road. The two variances are in respect to a front yard setback that is asking for the whole building to be 3 meters or between 3 to 6 meters from Kingston Road, which the entire strip on that block, all the buildings are about 30 meters back. So we just can't adhere to that bylaw without destroying the parking spaces. And the second bylaw that we are asking about is about the existing drive aisle in the rear of the building. And it's an existing to remain condition in the rear.
Okay. All right. Is that all?
Yeah, we were careful to maintain the fire access route. And yeah, you can see there the crosshatch, that's the area that we're looking to do an addition.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Members of the committee, you heard Jason. It's a fairly, it's a minor application in my opinion. One variance deals with an existing situation. Any comments or questions for the applicant? Can we have the screen back, Katrine? Thank you. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
I have no questions for the applicant. If there are no questions, I'm prepared to move approval of this application.
All right. Any questions, members? Okay, I see none. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
I move approval of this application for 2377 Kingston Road.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Member M.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 2377 Kingston Road has been approved.
Thank you very much.
All right. Item 22, 465 Bremerton Drive. And we have the agent and the homeowner, and we also have a neighbor who is registered to speak. Albert Yerushalmi.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Rajesh Brambat.
Hello, good morning, committee members.
Good morning. We have a neighbor who has registered to speak. Registered. Mashfiqul Islam, are you with us? Okay, Mashfiq is not there? Okay, all right. So, Mashfiqul Islam, you are not, you've not signed in. We will proceed with dealing with this matter. Members of the committee, before I do that, Albert and Rajesh, do you have any comments on your application at this time, or would you like to make a presentation?
Madam Chair, I think the variances are very clear, and if any questions the members have, I'm here to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. Members of the committee, questions for the agent or the homeowner? Member M, please go ahead.
Hi there, sir. I did note that I saw one letter of support, but it was from person that lived, a few streets over. I'm just wondering, have you spoken directly to the neighbors nor to each side of you in the rear? Because you are asking for a height permission that is a little bit larger than most that we see come before us. And so I just want to ensure that they are aware that you're going for almost 10.5 meter height permissions on this site.
May I have a comment regarding that height variance? That height variance actually is due to the topography of the site. And if you look at the plans, actually we don't have any variance at the rear. It's only because the parking, the garage is too low that creates that variance. If you look at the overall picture, it doesn't stand out as much as it shows in the plan. It's pretty subdued.
Okay,
So
yeah, because just looking at, along the street, there's like very few even two-story houses. And so it does appear to be quite different than the existing streetscape. But I mean, if there's no opposition, then I'm not as concerned. I just wanted to understand, have you had direct discussions with your neighbors?
the owner
Yeah, maybe
may have had
Rajesh.
that. I hadn't.
Yeah, maybe Rajesh can confirm that as the homeowner. Rajesh, have you discussed this matter with your immediate neighbor?
Yes, thank you, madam. And I would like to bring it to your attention also that there are a number of owner also who's waiting for my approval, and they also willing to develop such kind of dwelling in my neighborhood. So basically, almost everyone is aware about it.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further questions for the agent or the homeowner? Okay, can I have the screen back, Katrine, please? Thank you. All right, I see none. And both Albert and Rajesh, you're aware of the conditions of urban forestry?
Yes, Sam.
And you do not have any questions on that?
No.
Okay,
No questions.
thank you for confirming that. Members of the committee, any further comment or question? I see none. May I please have a motion? Member Macaulay. Go ahead, Member Macaulay, you're on mute.
Sorry. I recommend approval of this application. I'm just checking to see that there are conditions of urban forestry.
Yes.
So, recommend approval subject to the conditions of urban forestry.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Oh. Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'll second that motion to approve, subject to the urban forestry condition.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? All opposed? All right. So I will utilize my voting rights and I am in favor of this motion. So the motion is carried and the application has been approved subject to conditions of urban forestry. Thank you. So 465 by Morton Drive has been approved. Okay. We now move to item number 23. Item number 23 is for 153 Oak Ridge Drive. And we have a resident in opposition who would like to speak, so we're going to hold down this item. So the owner and the agent and all those speakers who have registered to speak for 153 Oak Ridge Drive, please note that this matter is being held for further discussion. We will come back to it. Item 25, 100 West Bourne Avenue.
Through the chair, I'm sorry, did you say 153 Oak Ridge? Because, sorry, you just did,
Yeah.
oh yeah, item 23, I'm sorry, my apologies, sorry.
Okay, no. Just confirming again.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay,
So-
confirming.
Sorry.
153 Oak Ridge Drive has been held for further discussion because we have a speaker. I'm now on item 25, and that is 100 Westbourne Avenue, and we have Maria Petrocelli.
Hi, good morning, Madam Committee members.
Good morning, Maria. So we have your application before us. Do you have any comments, or would you like to make a presentation on your application?
No comments unless there's any concerns.
Thank you. Members of the committee, any questions or comments for Maria? This is 100 Westbourne Avenue. Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't see there is any technical issue, but Maria, I'm just wondering the size, the reduction in the size of the parking space. Is that the correct size? Because I wonder how you are going to fit in any car in this, the size you mentioned there.
It's the reduced space is 5.1 meters, and a compact mid-size vehicle will fit. I did some research on some vehicles that would fit, and it looks like up to a mid-size vehicle, it has no.
Okay. Is that okay, Member Saeed? Do you want to have further question, or can we move?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was my curiosity, like what size of car is going to fit in there, because not the standard size of car is not going to fit in this size, but as long as the agent owner are okay, it's fine. I don't see there is any conditions, otherwise the variance is minor, and if the agent is satisfied, I'm willing to support that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any further questions, members of the committee, or are you prepared for a motion? Can I see the screen, please? All right, Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will move the motion for approval of item number 25, and there are no conditions attached to that.
Okay, may I have a seconder, please? Member M. All in favor of this motion? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Member M, go ahead.
I didn't mean to do that.
Can you say that again?
I didn't mean to unmute myself. I still second the motion.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. All in favor of this motion? Motion's carried. The application has been approved for 100 Westbourne Avenue.
Thank you all.
Item number 26. Item 26 is for 1960 and 1970 Lawrence Avenue East. And we have Evan Kim as the agent. Evan.
Yes.
Good morning. So Evan, do you have any comments at this time, or would you like to make a presentation?
No, not at this time, unless there are any other concerns.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, we have Evan with us, and are there any questions for Evan? I see none. All right. If there are no questions.
Wait, I had a question.
Sorry. Oh,
I had a question.
Okay.
Sorry. Evan, I thought I recalled seeing a zoning waiver. So you guys went through the waiver as opposed to doing a PPR, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So with that, how are you certain that there is no parking issues as a result of the floor area increase?
So I think in January we applied for a similar type of minor variance application for Unit 18 in 1960 Lawrence Avenue. So that was to increase the gross area of the eating establishment from 592 square meters to 744 square meters. And
yes, I'm familiar. So you did a PPR for that one, and then basically they said that there was no issue from parking?
That's correct. And we submitted a supplement document showing the parking compliance.
Understood.
Okay. Are we good, Amy?
Yeah, I just wanted him to be aware that as he goes through the building permit and then they do review it, if there is a parking non-compliance, he'll have to be back before us, that's all.
Yep, that's understood. Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? See none. All right. Members of the committee, a motion, please. Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Yvonne is aware of the parking compliance and I would like to move the motion for approval of item number 26, 1960, 1970 Lawrence Avenue, and there are no conditions attached to that.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll second that motion for approval of this application, and there are no conditions.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried, and the application for 1960 and 1970 Lawrence Avenue East has been approved. Thank you. Moving to the next item, item number 27, and item 27 is for 30 Cornell Avenue, and we have a speaker who has registered to speak in opposition, and we also have a member in support. So we will hold down this item and come back to it. 30 Cornell Avenue has been held for further discussion. Okay, next one is item 28, and it is 93 Heel Avenue. Once again, we have a neighbor who has registered to speak in opposition, so this matter will be held. Item number 28 for 93 Heel Avenue has been held for further discussion. Item 29, 1 Broderick Place. We have with us listed Jennifer Sprague as the agent. Jennifer, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Good morning. Good afternoon, actually. Jennifer, are there any comments at this time, or do you have any, would you like to make a presentation on your application?
I could, but in the essence of time, I just could mention that we do have TRCA approval and verbal support of the neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for Jennifer? I see none. All right, thank you, Jennifer. Members of the committee, there are no questions or comments. May I please have a motion? Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The variants before the committee, I believe they are minor. They qualify the 4 tasks. There are no conditions of urban forestry. So I would move the motion for approval of item number 29 without any conditions.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Member M.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
All right, all in favor of this motion? And the motion is carried. Application for item 29 for 1 Broderick Place has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next one, it is item 30. Item 30 is for 43 Dunstall Crescent. And we have with us the owner, Eleni and Wilbert Wang.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Gil Kofiros is the engineer. Oh, okay. So Gil is not with us, and we have Alvich, Dr. Lero. All right, we don't have that. Okay, so Eleni and Wilbert Wang, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good afternoon. Any comments on your application, or would you like to make a presentation?
No comments. It's just a very minor depth extension by a meter or so.
Okay, and are you aware of the urban forestry condition?
Yes, we are.
And do you have any concern?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll probably need to take it up with them because we don't have an existing tree that will be damaged or need to be cut down as a result of this construction. So I would need to confirm with them because we already submitted like a declaration that there won't be any trees that will be hurt or would be need to cut down because of this construction.
Okay. So we have received this condition from Urban Forestry, so should the committee wish to include it, we will. But if this matter, if you wish to take this matter with the Urban Forestry, you will take it up with them, and if the matter is resolved, good for you. All right? So I'm going to now go to the committee members. Committee members, any questions at this time? All right. If there are no questions of the applicant, may I please have a motion? Keep in mind that we have an urban forestry condition recommended. Member M, please go ahead.
I put forward a motion of approval subject to the urban forestry conditions, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Seconder, Member Macaulay. Please go ahead.
I second that motion.
All right, all in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application for 43 Dunstall Crescent has been approved, subject to condition of urban forestry. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. We now move to item 31, and item 31 is, we will have to hold down this item. One, because we have a speaker, and also because we have a community planning staff report that needs to be discussed. So item 31 for 3836 Ellesmere Road is being held for further discussion. So the owner and the agent and residents in opposition who had registered with us, please note 3836 Ellesmere Road is being held for further discussion. Thank you. 27 Butterworth Avenue. Again, we have a resident who has registered to speak in opposition. So 27 Butterworth Avenue is being held for further discussion. Item 33, 266 to 268 Kennedy Road. This matter is being held because we have the we have a resident who is in opposition. I guess, so this matter is being held. So I guess the order of the applications, we can just clarify that the applications associated with item 31, with the consent application, we will deal with the consent application first and then deal with the associated minor variances applications after that.
Through the chair, I agree with that approach.
Okay, thank you very much. So I could say that for items 31, item 32, and I believe item 33 as well, right? So, okay, so all the three consent applications at the end of the agenda that have associated minor variance applications, we will deal with the consents first and then the associated variance applications. That brings us to the end of the vetting of the agenda. So just as a recap, I want to confirm the items that are being held. So item 2, item 4, item 5, item 6, item 7, item 10, item 11, item 14, item 20, item 23, item 27, item 28, item 31, item 32, and item 33. Perfect. Thank you, Colin, for assisting me with that. Members of the committee, let's start with the first item that was held, and that is item number 2, and that is 905 Middlefield Road. We have Julian Jacobs as the architect who has registered and to be able to answer questions. Julian, you're with us? We see you, Julian, pop up, but we can't hear you. Julian, can you say something? Okay, so Julian, we can see you are coming in, but we cannot hear you. Could you check your audio connection, please? Julian Jacobs. Okay, I'm going to continue with the list and come back. So Julian, we could see you popping up, but we couldn't hear you. So keep trying. I'll come back to you and check in with you again. Alex Savanu.
Yes, Alex Avenue here, Madam Chair. Just to clarify, I will be speaking to the application. We simply signed up Julian and a few other folks, including our transportation consultant, simply to answer questions that committee may have.
Okay, so in case Julian is unable to connect, you will be answering the questions, correct? And your team as necessary.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We have Christian Chan as a planner for the interested party, Owens Corning. Christian, you're with us?
Hello, Madam Chair, I'm here.
Okay, hello, Christian. Just bear with us. I'm just doing a roll call to make sure everyone's there. Tara Purko.
Yes, I'm here, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Tara.
I'm here on behalf of.
Okay, just stay with us for a moment. Alan Chan.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. And we have Michael Radosevich. Michael, can you hear us? We can't hear you, Michael, in case you're trying to say something. Okay, well, we have a few minutes, so keep trying and then hopefully we can connect with you. I'll move along. Ran Parhar.
I'm here, ma'am.
Uh,
Michael.
Go ahead.
Alex would be actually doing all the talking on our behalf. I'm available in case there is any additional questions, please.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for confirming. Could you confirm, so are you representing Owens Corning?
No, I'm representing Gursak Sabha, kind of 905 Middlefield Road.
Oh, I see. Okay. You are representing, so you are the representative on the for the application. Okay, got you.
Correct, yes.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
I'm sorry for confusion. Yeah.
No, no problem. I didn't have that information in front of me. That's why I was confirming if you were, what your position was. Okay, so I can confirm that Ran is here representing the application 905 Middlefield Road. All right, so let's get going. Julian, I'm not sure if you were able to connect, but we will move to Alex, who has indicated that he would be speaking on behalf of this application. So Alex, 905 Middlefield Road, we have the application in front of us, and we have received all your correspondence, all the plans. We have your addendum letters, everything. Would you like to make a presentation or would you rather dive right into the questions?
I'd like to make a presentation, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. As you said, I'm Alex Avenue. I'm a land use planner with Bellsfields, and I'm agent for the application. Excuse me. As you said, you have our January 2021 planning addendum letter. We've reviewed planning staff's report, confirming there's no issues. We reviewed the letter of support from Councillor Lai. I've reviewed the urban forestry condition, which we have no issue with. And perhaps what I'll do, I'll just give a brief background of kind of how we got here today. So the site, of course, is at the northeast corner of Middlefield and Passmore, the Gursikh Sabha Gurdwara. The parcel is actually made up in two parts, as we've identified in our report, a north and a south part, and they're zoned differently. And part of the reason for that split zoning scenario is why we're here today. So just a bit of a background on the development of the site. So in 1991, construction of the place of worship was completed fully on Part 1. So it has existed to some extent for just about 3 decades. In 1995, Part 2, which is the south portion of the site, was purchased. And in 2003, the owner received approval from the Committee of Adjustment to construct an expansion, and that expansion required a few minor variances, as we outlined in our staff report. Yes, thank you, Katrine. That's the split zone scenario, Part 1 to the north, Part 2 to the south. So the 2003 approval approved a portion of the expansion to be located on Part 2. It permitted 2 priest apartments, or what we call priest sleeping rooms, within the Gurdwara, and then the third variance being an increase in the GFA on the total site's basis. Because of the split zoning scenario, Part 1 has a different density requirement than Part 2. So essentially, the 2003 approval permitted a total of just about 4,400 square meters of GFA on the entire site. When they went ahead and actually constructed the addition, they only built to just about 4,000 square meters. So there's another 400 square meters of GFA that were permitted that were simply, it didn't end up being built. They didn't maximize their permission at the time. And that kind of brings us to why we're here today. So Bellsfields, we were retained in February of last year to permit this minor expansion. If we want to go to the site plan, what we've done is we've highlighted in yellow the areas of the building that we are proposing to expand. As you can see, really what we're doing is we're simply filling in those little corner pieces. Right now, I guess for lack of a better shape, so to speak, it's kind of like an oval or circle type shape. We're simply just filling in those yellow corners, just those very minor expansions in order to accommodate this addition. So we submitted the application in April of 2020 for the exact same thing that you see here right now, except we're proposing 3 additional priest sleeping rooms. You know, we then followed up with staff and Owens Corning as well. They identified some issues with introducing this type of use, even though there are 2 sleeping rooms that exist there that were approved back in 2003. We wanted to add 3 more. There was definitely some concerns around that. So what we did is our whole team met with planning staff and the strategic initiatives and policy analysis staff, including the managers of those departments, and had a meeting to understand what exactly were the issues here. And there was a lot about, these pre-sleeping rooms and, would it be a conversion because it's in an employment area? And we took it back, and what we did is we revised the proposal. We removed those 3 pre-sleeping rooms, and we ensured that those yellow areas that we're expanding relate to the as-of-right zoning uses on the subject site. And what we did, we set up another meeting with staff thereafter to go over the revised plan, to provide some further details in terms of GFA, because we have this split zoning scenario that makes GFA a little bit more of a unique situation. And it was confirmed that there were no issues. We're not proposing any new uses on the site. And that's why we're here today with a staff report that, that has no objections to the proposal, and why we feel comfortable with proceeding. In terms of the actual 2 variances that we're requesting, one is for GFA. So as you can see as I've said before.
Sorry, I just want to interrupt quickly. Sorry, Alex, you have, your 5 minutes is up, so I'll give you another 30 seconds to wrap up.
Okay, sure. So there's a parking variance. We submitted a parking letter to the city that was accepted by staff. I believe there's something even on record from transportation staff confirming no issues from a parking perspective. From a GFA perspective, again, very minor 800 square meter increase over the existing condition, which equals 4.9% FSI. If we compare our increase to the 2003 approval, again, because we didn't maximize the GFA in the 2003 approval, we're only proposing around 400 square meters of additional GFA over and above what was approved in 03, which is 2.6% FSI. So sorry I went a bit over. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay.
I'm glad that we were able to work with staff to get them on board with this proposal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that presentation. I will like to now move to, before I do, members of the committee, any questions for Alex at this time? Oh, Member Saeed, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Alex, for your presentation. Just for sake of further clarity, um, what I understand that there are two priest rooms which were already existing there, and because this is a question which is directly or indirectly related to the increase in GFA. So currently you are proposing one additional priest sleeping room. Am I correct on that?
No, no, all of the pre-sleeping rooms, so you're correct in that there are two existing. There were three that we were previously proposing, which would have brought the total up to 5. And we've since removed those as requested by staff. And I believe Owens Corning had some concerns about that as well. So now there, we are not proposing any pre-sleeping rooms. Completely removed.
Okay, is that good, Member Said? Can we move on?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Other Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. Just to the applicant, I'm sorry, I just didn't catch that last part. You're saying there are no new sleeping rooms that are being applied for at this time. Is that right?
Alex?
Yeah, I think, okay, yeah, there I am. Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, that is absolutely correct. 0 priest sleeping rooms proposed because of the fact that we removed them, got a new zoning notice, and that's what our revised proposal, and that's why we've been going at this for a year, because we've been going back and forth with the city to, address their concerns. One of those concerns being pre-sleeping rooms, and that's why we're no longer proposing that in this application.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gary, are you satisfied or do you have further questions?
No, thanks. That question is answered for me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Member M, please go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you for the very comprehensive background on how you arrived to the current design, and I'm pleased to see that those sleeping rooms have been removed, because that to me is an additional sensitivity that I know there is existing rooms, but you don't want to necessarily exasperate a non-complying situation. So I appreciate that, and I understand what you're trying to achieve here, and that you're only just rounding out, and at the end of the day, you've come to the determination through, I guess, the staff reports that there is no additional uses being proposed that aren't already there today. So thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, thank you very much, Member M. Yes, the community planning staff report in its summary and the main body of the report speaks to that there are no new uses that are being proposed. It's just an expansion of the existing building in the GFA. Having said that, at last call, any question for Alex at this time? Okay, I see none. Let's move ahead and let's go to our next speaker. Time is of essence here. Christian Chan.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. My name is Christian Chan. I'm with C2 Planning. I am the land use planner that's been retained by Owens Corning. I'd like to premise my comments first and handing the baton over to Tara Purko. We have late filed deferral requests for this application. And if you could turn the mic over to Tara, she will further explain our position on requesting a deferral at this time.
Okay, thank you. And just for record and for your advice, we have received your memos dated March 24th, the most recent one as well. So we have read through it and then we understand what the issues are. On that note, I would now turn over to Tara. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. At the outset, I would ask that page 4 of our letter, there's an image there, just be brought up on screen for the committee's reference. I am counsel for Owens Corning, located at 3450 McNichol Avenue. Also on the line is Alan Chan and Michael Radisevich from Owens Corning, in case you have any questions. Owens Corning is a Class 3 industrial facility, and it's a major facility in the PPS in the city's official plan. They supply residential fiberglass insulation products to customers in the eastern half of Canada, and 90% of its products are shipped within this market. And it's the only fiberglass insulation plant in the city of Toronto, employing 160 full-time employees at present, and they have a significant contribution to the city's tax base. Our clients' they're concerned with protecting the long-term operation of the plant at this location, which you could see on the map when it was up on the screen moments ago. And the reason we're asking for deferral is as follows, and we had a brief conversation. We had the opportunity to speak with Christian Ventresca and City Planning yesterday, finally. The applications, or this application, is with respect to sensitive land uses within the area of influence of our client's major facility. And the policies in 2245 to 22410 of the official plan are applicable. The staff reports, and there were two for 905 Middlefield, neither have recognized this fact. And we spoke to planning staff yesterday afternoon and were advised that they would issue a report that would be on the public record addressing the policies in the official plan and whether or not the application maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan, which is one of the tests, as we all know, under Section 45. It is important to add or note that there are currently 3 active applications respective sensitive land uses. If you look at the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see 2 black dots, one in the white, which is 905 Middlefield, one in the blue, which is 260 Ingleton, item 14 on the committee's agenda today, and then the pink dot or the pink polygon between the two, that is 900 Middlefield, and there's currently an application for sensitive land uses in that area as well. So one, it's in my client's area or zone of influence. 1, you get a lump in your throat. 2, you get a stomach ache, and 3, you just want to throw up. And we looked at the staff reports for this one, the staff report for the other one, and there's been no recognition that these applications for sensitive land uses are within our client's area of influence. And as you will see, it is a very large land holding and operation in this area. We understand from planning staff that they would issue a follow-on report addressing the policies of concern and that they could do this by the next meeting of this committee. And we've also presented conditions, as you saw in our letter, and we've had further discussions. I was on the phone with Alex Sevenu this morning. We think we can work through them, and we're not being unreasonable here. We have valid concerns given the onslaught of applications for sensitive land uses in this area. Yes, some already exist, but there are expansions and changes to existing ones as well as new ones. And we need time for there to be recognition on the public record of this fact, and also time to meet, and not meet in person, but have conversations to resolve the condition that we've requested. We submitted a revised scaled down one to Alex yesterday to work through that condition and how it can get secured. Those are my comments. And in that regard, we're requesting a deferral to the end or to the next meeting of this committee.
So just want to clarify one thing with you, Tara, is that have you had any discussions at all with the neighbor or with Alex at all to date regarding these issues?
So I had a discussion, so Christian Chan, who's on the line, and he passed the baton to me. Christian Chan has had a number of discussions with Alex. We believe that the subsequent staff report that we saw go on to the committee's application or the city's application information center on Friday, we thought it would address it, but it didn't. We have had conversations with Alex, at Christian, more so than myself.
Okay.
But we also had a very good discussion with Christian Ventresca. Yes, there are 2 Christians on the file. Yesterday afternoon, and that was the impetus for the deferral request that was sent by Mr. Chan yesterday late in the afternoon.
Okay, all right. I will. Yeah, we will check with Alex again. But before I do, I need another clarification and staff can help me. So Colin, could you please advise us, the committee, if you have received any advice from community planning on a revised report or an updated report?
Through the chair, I have not.
Okay, so you've not received any intimation from community planning?
That's correct. The only thing that that is before you is the staff report from or the information report from community planning. That's on the
Dated March
agenda. Yes.
March 24. That's on the agenda. Okay, all
Correct.
right. Okay, all right. So thank you for your time, Tara. I think we'll certainly come back to you once we've had a chance to confirm with Alex as well. But before we, I guess we have to proceed at this time. So the next person on the list was Alan Chan. Alan, are you going to be speaking?
No, Madam Chair. Again, Tara was our representative. I'm a member of Owens Corning. She's speaking on our behalf.
Okay, all right. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a last call. Michael?
Hi, Madam Chair. I'm Michael Radicevic. I'm the plant leader here, site leader
Mm-hmm.
at the Toronto Owens plant. And Tara, she's our agent, and she speaks for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we understand Tara is sort of the spokesperson for Owens Corning. Okay, members of the committee, any questions for Tara or any of the representatives for Owens Corning at this time? Member M, please go ahead.
So I just want to confirm. So Owens Corning had conversations with staff as of yesterday afternoon, indicating that there was going to be a revised staff report to talk about the area of influence, and then the staff report that came out yesterday did not consider that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Didn't. Oh, I'm unmuted now. The staff report that's on the AIC did not address the policies of which are meant to protect major facilities. We were trying to get in contact with someone. There, as you will see from my email that is on file, there was a bit of full escalation yesterday when we still had not heard from anybody. And we had the opportunity to speak with Christian Ventresca, who had indicated to myself and Alan Chan, or Christian Chan, sorry, two Chans as well on the file, that he would be sending an email to Colin Ramdial in this regard. So we are a little surprised that the committee was not advised. We were also surprised that we weren't on the deferral list this morning. We strongly believe that our concerns would be addressed by this subsequent report from community planning to address a key part of a Section 45 application consideration, as well as resolving the condition that I was talking to.
My question is more so that because as I've heard from staff here today, that we're not anticipating an additional report, and that the revised report did come out yesterday. So I'm just trying to rectify in my brain why there was maybe thought from your end that there was going to be a third report issued.
No, my apologies, Member M. What Christian Ventresca indicated is that clearly something could not be written for this committee hearing today based on our discussion yesterday, but that they would require one cycle of this committee in order to draft that report and submit it such that it could be considered. And the policies that should be considered are on the public record for anyone coming forward down the line looking at applications in this area.
Understood. Thank you.
So my apologies for any confusion.
No, okay. Well, thank you very much, Tara. So again, I'm going to sort of reiterate that I've checked with Colin again, and we've not received, Colin has not received, or his staff has not received any intimation from community planning with regards to any other report or further report on this. What we have on the agenda is what we have. I know there may be a little bit of, communication gap or something, but as far as the committee is concerned, we have not received any information regarding this issue. I see two hands raised. Member McKay, please go ahead.
Yes, Tara, I hear your concern about sensitive issues coming into employment districts, but what we have before us today is just a C of A application for, I would say, some modest GFA with respect to the temple. And both the temple and your client Owens Corning have been here for many years. They've it seems that they've been able to coexist. I don't have any background on that, but I just note that both uses have been there now for some years. And we've heard there's no further sleeping arrangements in terms of GFA that's being added. So, my own view, I would move forward is that I think the committee is in a position to move and make a decision on this minor variance application today, and I don't see a need to defer. It's quite possible you can proceed with staff and think about the larger area and any new applications that may be coming in. Maybe there are applications for rezoning. I don't know. So I just wanted to say that what about that these uses already exist and have managed to coexist for quite a few years. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Member McKay. That was helpful. Any other comment before we move on to Alex? Okay, I see none. Thank you very much. So, Alex, can we have you? Okay, you're in. So, Alex, you heard Tara's comments, and apparently there was some confusion regarding a report or deferral request, but I would like to hear from you and address the concerns that have been raised as with regards to the matters.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. We were, excuse me, we were advised of the deferral request, and it's not something that we agree with. We've been at this for a year. We've had multiple conversations with with Owens Corning's representatives, mostly with like myself, with Christian, literally over the past probably 7 months. We've made revisions to the application to address their specific concerns and staff specific concerns that were outlined, especially within the first letter. In terms of an updated staff report, and to say that we haven't contemplated or no one's contemplated Owens Corning, we definitely have, and that's why we've made these changes. We've recognized them, and that was part of our conversations with staff. Our multiple meetings with staff was recognizing some of these concerns and making changes to address them. So the specifics for why it's not included in the report, I assume because staff are of the opinion that it's perhaps not that large of an issue because of the changes that we made and the fact that, as has been reiterated, we've coexisted for nearly 30 years without any issues, and these are minor, a 2.6% increase in a GFA number that was approved in 2003, or a 4.9% increase over existing GFA, located on the corners of the building to just kind of full out the building, not encroaching any closer into Owens Corning's operations. I think that we have done everything that we can, and with the congregation just really wants to be able to proceed so that they can serve the community. And those would be my responses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I think that's quite clear, and I think we've received quite sort of a satisfactory response with regards to consultations that have occurred in the past with Owens, and then hence the changes that were introduced to the application. I'm going to reiterate that this is an existing use; no new uses are being proposed. It's just an evolution of an existing use that's already there. And on this note, questions from the committee members. Any questions for Alex? Any questions for Alex? Okay, I see none. Just want to check again. Ran Perhar, you mentioned that you were sort of you are for 905 Middlefield Road. You are the representative for the application. Just want to confirm with you if you wish to speak or say anything at this point.
I would just back up everything that Alex has said. And with respect, as it has been mentioned, we have existed for 3 decades, no issues at all. We do understand, that we are a good corporate citizen, and we will keep doing that. Here, with this very little addition that we are doing, we are just meeting the wishes and needs of our congregation. And in doing that, we are not increasing anyone's risk of, the presence of operations by Owens Corning. That's all I would like to say. Alex has said it all. And I would request that, the committee listens favorably to this congregation's request because I'm representing the congregation. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Rand, for your time. All right, members of the committee, before I take the matter into committee, last call. Any comments, any questions for either the applicant or the representatives for Owens or Tara? Okay, I see none. All right, thank you, everyone. I will now take the matter into committee. Committee members, any comments? Any comments to share amongst yourselves or deliberations, or are you prepared for a motion? Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say I will agree with Member Gary. This property or this Gurdwara has been existing there for the last 3 decades, and the variance before the committee was very minor because there is a little changes in the GFA. So I totally agree with Gary. We don't see any major variances there. Only the conditions of urban forestry, which could be attached with the approval, should the committee approve that. Otherwise, keeping in view the present scenario, I think I'm willing to agree with Gary and to support that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just for record, I would want to sort of reiterate that there was a request for deferral from the Owens Corning, and that was discussed with the applicant or the agent today, and there was no appetite for that. So I just want to make that on record that the applicant is not interested in a deferral of this matter and would like to be dealt with today. Having said that, any further comments or questions? Okay, I see none. All right, members, now can I please have a motion? Member Said, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I move the motion for approval of item number 2, subject to the condition of urban forestry.
Oh, there are conditions of urban forestry? Okay. All right, okay.
Yeah, my note is that there are, Madam Chair, yes.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the application subject to the conditions of urban forestry. May I have a seconder, please? Member Gary.
Sorry. Madam Chair, I'd second that motion to approval, subject to urban forestry conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. The application's approved subject to conditions of urban forestry. Thank you. All right, the next item that was held for further discussion is item number 4. 281 Livingston Road. And we have with us Rock Kim as the agent. Rock, are you with us? Thank you, staff.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. Good
Hi, my name.
afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, just bear with me. I'm just going to quickly check with the neighbor. David Kumbalazier.
Yes, hi.
Hi, good afternoon, David. So just bear with us for a moment. Rock.
Okay.
Rock, so we have your application before us. It's a minor variance application, and there is one. I believe there's one. Yes. No. My apologies. Yes, there's one variance that is before us. Now, would you like to make a presentation, or do you have any comments before we go to the committee members?
I can explain briefly about the project actually.
Sure.
Yeah. First of all, my name is Rakim. I'm the agent of the owner, and then the owner was trying to make the addition on top of the garage and the front addition. Actually, I checked already for the neighbor's objection, but the building by itself, we don't have any issue for setback or front coverage or nothing. No height issues, but the owner trying to make it a secondary unit on top of the addition part. So that's only the issue because we are changing the main wall part. So I think that's not a big issue for the neighbors. So yeah, that's all I can explain. If there's any question, I can answer.
Okay. And are you aware of the community planning staff report that's suggesting a recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much, members of the committee. Any questions for Rock at this time? I see none. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Just stay with us. We will now move to speaking with David. David is the neighbor who has come here to speak in opposition. So, David, please go ahead. You have 5 minutes to express your concerns with the application.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. This is a great way for us to participate. I just want to briefly emphasize 2 points. One is that there already is a secondary suite attached to the property, and that's shown in the plan that they submitted. It's in the basement, and it's accessed through the side door and stairs on the north side of the building. So, so I don't think there's any need for changing the front of the house to accommodate another additional suite. Secondly, the second point I wanted to make was that the proposed construction does in fact alter the front wall and the roof of the house, and that's contrary to the bylaw. Because the entire proposed suite would be at the front of the house, it seems that they're really not asking just for flexibility with regard to the bylaw, but they want to reject completely that paragraph 2 of the bylaw, because I think it's a big modification. So in conclusion, I don't think that the variance for the proposal as requested should be granted. The proposed construction of an additional suite in the front of the house at 281 is such that the proposed suite's living room window, bathroom window, and bedroom window will each face the street. And the entire roof line of the building will change. So the entire suite will be at the front of the house. And except for the door, the homeowner's existing space will no longer look over the street. Furthermore, the proposed alteration to the front impacts not only the view from the street, but as I mentioned in the letter that I submitted, will result in increased shade on the south side yards and will impact my privacy because the alteration includes 3 new bedroom windows looking to the side and in front of my house. So that's all. I just wanted to point out those points.
Okay, well, thank you, David. I just want to clarify that we have only one variance that is before us, and this has been through a zoning review at the city. So, and one variance has been identified, which is to accommodate a secondary suite, whereas the bylaw does not permit it if it alters or add to the front wall or roof or that faces a street. And I think that's where the focus is, and I heard your concerns as it relates to sort of having the use in front of the house. So I am going to request the applicant to provide a response to that. But before I do, I want to check with the committee members if they have any questions for you at this time. Okay, can I have the screen, please? All right, I do not see any questions for you at this time. So thank you for your time. Rock, if you can come back.
Yeah, first of all, basement there, they don't have any kitchen, so it's not a secondary unit. And they're trying to make the, on the addition part, the new kitchen. Actually, they have a three mid-20, all adult, but they have three sons. So they have big family actually for now. So before they get married, they want to live on the same house. So they think they need another kitchen. But after they out, probably the owner wants to rent it out at the front
So is it,
secondary unit part.
no,
And then
that's fine. But
sorry.
is there a secondary unit at this time in the basement?
No, there is no secondary unit.
Okay, so this is a new secondary suite that will be introduced should this application be approved.
This is a single family dwelling for now, and then we are trying to make the secondary unit on the addition part.
Correct. Okay, all right. No, because
Yes.
I think David raised that a concern that there was already a second suite there, so I just wanted to confirm that there's no second suite available in the basement right now, and that this will, should this be approved, it would permit a secondary suite. Okay, well, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add about? I think David also raised a concern about windows and affecting his
Yeah,
privacy.
well, yes, on the south side of window, we're gonna add a few more windows, but we are allowed to make the 7% of the existing wall area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not part of the committee of adjustment, I think.
Okay, all right. I understand that the Ontario Building Code will take care of those things, but just as a good neighbor, I would suggest that you, in sort of finalizing your designs for the windows on that wall, if you can consult with your neighbor, that would be appreciated. Having said that, committee members, any questions for Rock at this time? I see none. Well, thank you very much. And anything before I take the matter into committee? Rock, would you like to say anything? Closing remarks?
No, not really.
Okay, okay. Okay, members, we take the matter into committee. May I have a motion or any comment? Member Macaulay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to comment on this. I find this a difficult application because it goes against what the council has fairly recently struggled with. And council has been looking at secondary dwelling units. They want to increase the number of dwelling units in the municipality, but they all do not want to change the character of the area. So they put some fairly specific statements with their dwelling units. The one that this one is violating is that the secondary dwelling unit, as it is to be secondary, is not at the front of the building and does not overtake the appearance from the street of the primary dwelling. What they're trying to do is maintain the character of the street as well as allowing the possibility of a secondary dwelling unit. I find taking a look at the site plan, if you could bring it up, I have it as page 183, that the entire front of the building is the secondary dwelling unit. That the existing dwelling unit, which is further behind, is going to have to make some significant changes to delete its windows fronting onto the street because they will now front into this secondary dwelling unit. And
Me-
that's my concern.
Member Macaulay.
Jan, I agree with you in terms of the intent of that official plan policy, and I would be completely on side if there was a second entrance.
Mhm.
So visually, it does appear as it's only just one unit. You wouldn't know that that was a secondary unit because they removed that entrance and that it looks like there's just one entrance. But yes, I would be fully on board with what you're saying if that secondary unit had its own sort of entranceway in that front area, because then that would for sure be competing with the primary dwelling. But they've kind of fashioned it in a way to try to make it appear like it's one unit, even though it functions as two. And so I'm not as concerned, but I hear where you're coming from.
And if I can add my 2 cents here, I agree with, I echo Member M's comments as well as Member Macaulay's comments. Absolutely, I think that would have been a concern. But if you look at the west elevation, and if you look at this elevation, I can't tell if there are 2 units or 1 unit. There's one garage and one entrance door. I really don't see how this would be constituted as, or just by looking at that particular elevation, that would be constituted as 2 units. It's not really changing the character of the streetscape or the built form here. So I'm a little, I'm not sure if that would be my concern. But I totally agree. Had this been done differently, absolutely, because that's the intent of the official plan policy, is to maintain that character. Thank you, Katrine. Having said that, any further comments or questions? Okay, I see none. There's a staff report that the agent was aware of and the recommended condition in that staff report, and he did not have an issue with it. So should the committee consider adding that, he has already looked into it. Member M.
Yeah, and I think the purpose of that condition to tie it to the plans was to ensure that they don't provide that secondary entrance
Mhm.
from that front facade and to ensure that it still looks like it functions as one, even though it is two separate dwellings. So that provides me a little bit comfort that in the future that it will still appear to be just one dwelling as opposed to it being taken over by the secondary dwelling. That I think is the intention of that condition.
Okay, thank you. All right. In the essence of, Member Macaulay. Can't hear you. Please unmute.
I understand where we're coming from. As I said, my concern is that this whole new development is on the front. I understand the desire to tie it to the west side elevation so as to ensure there's no access. If that is the wish of the committee, I would suggest that both the west side elevation and the north side elevation, which shows the access to the secondary dwelling unit, that should be confirmed,
You mean that should be tied?
should be tied to the approval.
Should the committee grant approval? Okay. All right. I think we've spent a good time on deliberating on this one. Can I please have a motion now? Member M, please go ahead.
I put forward a motion of approval subject to the community plan conditions to tie to the drawing package. Instead of just saying exactly, I just would say all submitted architectural plans. Is that possible, Colin?
That may be a little tricky because if the intent is to, I mean, you got to see what the variance is for. If it's reflecting the variance, then I would only tie the ones that are reflecting the variance, so which
Okay, so
means
then
the
I
elevations
guess
only.
I would tie to the elevation.
So which elevation, the west and the north side? Because those are the two that are relevant to the secondary suite.
I still think the site plan is relevant as well. I mean, it just shows it not in a 3D context. But sure, I mean, it can be tied to the north and west elevation.
Okay, all right. May I have a seconder, please? Member Gary.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yes, I'm prepared to second that motion for approval, subject to the tying into two plans as outlined in the community planning report. And I'm just checking to see, no, I don't see any urban forestry guidelines. So,
Okay.
anyway, sorry about that. I'll second the approval.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor for approval, subject to the condition of community planning staff report, as well as a condition that the north elevation be also tied to the approval. We also have a seconder. All in favor of this motion? All opposed? So Member Macaulay opposes the application. However, the motion is carried and the application is approved, subject to the conditions as noted. Thank you. We are going to move to item number 5 now, and I will step away as I have a conflict, and I will request Member Macaulay to chair that item. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just get my papers here for a second. Item 5 is for 19 Oak Ridge Drive. And we have in the audience, Nadine Ifran. Are you there, Irene? Nireen. Sorry, Nadine. Nadine Ifran is the applicant.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair.
We also have Mohammed Sabir as the applicant. Do you wish to speak as well?
I would like to speak. Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here. I would like to speak.
Okay. And then we have Tanya Bashish in opposition. I may not be pronouncing that correctly.
Thank you. It's Tanya Baksh. Yeah. And Emily Schmidt will be speaking prior to me, please, if possible.
Certainly. And we have Janet O'Neill, who also wishes to speak. Is Janet there?
Hello, yes, I'm here. I might choose to speak after Emily and Tanya.
Okay, we'll put you down as number 3. And we have an Alan Burt. Alan, are you also there?
Yes, although I wasn't aware I was speaking to this one. I had registered to speak to 45 Crete, not 19 Oak Ridge.
Okay. That's fine. If you don't wish to speak, we'll just take your name off the list.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I just suggest that we state that, you know, if there are multiple concerns of the same nature, that it's not necessarily beneficial to repeat concerns that have already been addressed, but perhaps to add any additional concerns that may not have been highlighted. It doesn't sort of help the cause to repeat previously outlined concerns.
Thank you, Member M. That's helpful to remind everybody that we'd like to hear the concerns, but we don't need to hear them several times if they're the same concern. To the applicant, do you wish to make a presentation?
Yes, Madam Chair. Before I start my presentation, I would like to request the committee to hear the homeowner at the end of other speakers, so he can probably respond to some of the concerns the neighbors have. and it'll probably be more helpful for the committee to get the real insight of the concerns and their response. Now, I'd like to
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt. Through the chair, point of privilege. Sorry. Actually, the applicant who makes the presentation does have an opportunity at the once they've heard all the members who've spoken, they do have an opportunity to rebut any of the concerns that were raised. Is the committee, I guess the chair may wish to ask the applicant whether I guess the applicant will be responding or the owner will be responding, because it can't be both, right?
My only request is to my request to the committee is to allow the homeowner to speak at the end after the other speakers are have stated their concerns.
Okay, so to clarify, Nadine, you do not want to make a presentation to the committee. You wish the homeowner, Mohammed, to make the presentation or to answer questions after the residents in the community wish to speak. Is that correct?
No, Madam Chair, I would make the presentation. My request was after I make the presentation, typically member of the community are asked to make their presentation or the concerns or raise their concerns. And once they are done, then the homeowner could be allowed to speak. And then I can rebut, any questions. Okay. We have some rules here that we're trying to follow to make this meeting very efficient. And in accordance with our rules, then as the applicant, you can speak. We would then take anyone who wishes to speak in support, or in this case, we have the homeowner who is also listed as wanting to speak. Then we will listen to any members in opposition. And at the end of that presentation from those in opposition, we would then go back to the applicant to rebut any of the items that the members have stated. So I propose that we proceed. Nadine, you have 5 minutes to make your presentation here. Thank you, Madam Chair. The application before you is to approve a new infill lot development. And there are 3 variances which are being proposed. The variance number 1 is for the additional FSI. The FSI additional is being asked is about 38 square meter. That is located on the main floor above the garage. The grading is such that we were able to design what the homeowner kind of wanted it and desired it. Although this additional FSI is there, but it has not increased the footprint of the house and not to the and also not to the coverage. If we look at the site plan, the proposed coverage is about 30%, although it is allowed or permitted is 33%. It has also not increased into the building height. The building height complies with the required 9 meter. The second variance we are requesting is the wall height. The front wall is 8.5 meter. The rear wall and the side walls where we typically have windows are 7.75. But if we were to look at the elevations, all the 3 sides, 2 sides and the back, typically the eave height is 7.01 meter, whereas required is 7 meters. So it's a very minor. The variance number 3 is for the balcony at the front. Although the front entrance is into the exemptions of the calculation from the front yard setback. It complies, but the balcony is not within the exemption. So that's why there's a variance for that. And I also wanted to state that this is not a builder. The homeowner has been living here for last several years. Um, they have canvassed to the neighborhood. They have sought almost 14 support letters, although we come to know that there are 3 or 4 neighbors have withdrawn their support, but we have almost like 10 still valid. I wanted to mention it to the committee that it meets the 4 tests in our opinion. It meets the zoning, the zoning requirements. It meets the official plan requirement. The proposal is desirable. We are only asking 0.58 FSI, whereas committee has in the past approved almost 0.7 FSI. All these lots are underutilized. They're approximately 30 to 40% FSI or 0.4 to 0.45 FSI. There have been precedent 45 Oak Ridge and 40 Oak Ridge where committee has approved a significantly higher number, almost like 90 square meter more in the past. If we were to look at this application, what are the negative impacts on the neighborhood? We don't see any. There is no lot coverage variance. There is no side yard. As a matter of fact, the side yards exceed the requirement of 1.2. We have 1.41. There is no front yard requirement of front yard variance. There's no rear yard variance. There is no height variance. There are, community planning staff has reviewed this application. It was circulated to staff, and they have not shown their concern. They have not written any report. We have not heard any communication from them that they have any concern. So we know this may be a little bit of different design, but it is now contemporary. It is trending into other part of the city. We have done numerous design in Oak Ridge's communities, Cliff Crest, Cliffside, other part of the Scarborough. So this is trending in, and we believe this meets the 4 test, and the variances are very minor in nature, and we request the committee to consider this for approval.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nadine. I should have mentioned that you have 5 minutes in your presentation. I didn't start timing you, so I've just allowed you to continue your presentation.
Through the chair, through the
to the applicant.
actually through the chair. I know it's a challenge when you're remote here, but rest assured that I'm taking time. And if at 30 seconds, I'll turn on my mic and let you know. Okay, when it's 30 seconds left.
Mr. Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Nadine, for your presentation. Nadine, the number you mentioned in your presentation, actually, those were not matching with the variance number 2. So I am referring to variance number 2. Could you go through them? Go through that once again. Just wanted, for sake of more clarity, that what is the height of the front walls? You said the side walls, the front wall height is different than the other walls. So could you go through that again, please?
Yes. I'd like to request the staff to bring up the elevation drawing. Hello? Yes. So the 8.54 is at the front. 8.54 is at the front. 7.75 at the rear and the side where we have the windows. But typically all around the house, the 3 sides, it's 7.09. I hope I'm able to answer these questions.
So I agree with Member Saeed. It doesn't appear that that number matches your request for 7.75. And so, we would be approving the 7.75, not the 7.9.
No, the approval would be 8.54 for the front wall and 7.75 for the other walls.
So did you not just say 7.9 though?
No, what I'm saying is 8.54 is for the front wall and rest of the area is 7.75. But if you look at the typically other part where we don't have the window, we have eaves 7.09. So majority of the house has a 7.09, although it is not a variance. It just as a part of my argument, I'm explaining that most of the house will have 7.09 other than the front wall and the side and the rear wall where we have the windows. So
Okay,
Katrine,
sorry,
if you don't mind
misheard you.
showing the rear wall, rear elevation.
Sorry, I misheard you. I thought you said 7.9, not 7.09.
7.09. So this is perfect, Katrine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we got your point. So it's exactly you are requesting for 7.75. But the other point you were mentioning that if we look overall the overall picture of the entire house, the wall height is about 7.09 for major part of the this construction, right?
Yes. Yes.
And my understanding is that it's just to facilitate the architectural features above the windows, and it's not actually necessarily additional height per se. It's all part of within the roof structure. So, okay, thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? If not, can we move on to the homeowner, Mr. Mohammed?
Thank you very much for taking me and thank you for listening.
Sorry, we have difficulty hearing you.
Are you able to hear me now?
We have a lot of interference.
Madam Chair, may I recommend maybe we
Good
speak to
afternoon.
the...
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. And thank you for letting me.
Mr. Mohammed, we only want to hear anything new, please.
We just want to tell that committee and the member of the committee and Mr. Chairperson, we are living here. I'm not a builder. I'm building for my growing family need. I have small kids. They are growing up. They need their own space. And my understanding, my immediate neighbors have supported me. And my understanding, it's a 1 block or 2 block near to my house, and they all have supported me. But when I saw that, after application applying, when I saw that some stranger coming, imaginary pictures with charts and misleading information, they influence and mislead some resident to withdraw the support after even the deadline also. That was strange for me. Then we have not, they presented that we are encroaching someone's lands, and it is not true. Then we request the committee, please check that the addresses of the people, those have signed in the objection, their addresses are 2 kilometer, 2.5 kilometer away from my home. And some are not a owner also. I have the list with me, and I can send to the committee if they want to review, if the camera can be allowed. I can show on the camera also. Their addresses are Sunny Point, Brookline, Windy
I think, Mr. Mohammed, we have understood your point here. I note that we do have received letters of support. We have received 14 letters of support. We have 2 letters of opposition, and we have a petition with 42 names on it. I think the committee is familiar with receiving letters of support and letters of opposition and petitions, and we do take the time to look at where these letters, the addresses of these letters. So we understand your issue that maybe some of the people are not as impacted by this proposal. Do you have anything else you wish to say?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chair. Thank you for taking my the concern.
Okay.
The other is
Do we
only.
have any questions from the committee? Not seeing any. Emily Smith, are you there?
Hello, yes. Good morning, good afternoon, committee members. My name is Emily Smith, and I currently reside at 38 Oak Ridge Drive with my husband and our 3 children. We have lived in this neighborhood since 2013, and specifically at that address. I have been asked to speak by some of the local neighbors in opposition to this egregious proposed development, as they were unable to do so themselves. I will not be reading our petition letter of objection, but I have created a statement in conjunction with some of the neighbors in regard to the variances outlined in this development application. As you can see from the petition letter of objection submitted, a large majority of the neighbors, including both adjacent neighbors, are in opposition of this proposed development. Some of the local neighbors rescinded their letter of support obtained by the owner after they had an opportunity to review the proposed plans. These neighbors are now in opposition of this development, and a letter signed by the neighbors who changed their minds is posted on the application's information center. So now onto the variances that I would like to focus on, variances 1 and 2. Would you please pull up the attachment number 3 in the Cliffcrest Scarborough Village Southwest Residents Association letter of objection, GFA and FSI charts for review by the committee? That's attachment number 3. Variance 1, the floor space index. The data used in this plot was derived from the city database. The data was updated following a cruise of the street to identify new builds, and updates were obtained from myproperty.ca, COA, and the TLAB hearing details, as well as from neighbors. The floor space index is 16% larger than the allowable FSI, and this is not minor in nature. As you can see from the 2 charts, GFA and FSI on the screen, this proposed development is certainly not in character with the neighborhood's single-family homes, which are predominantly bungalows, and that's 35 of the 61 based on the plot. A total of 58 of the 61 homes remain well below the allowed GFA and FSI limits. The proposal accommodates a larger floor space and benefits only the applicants and negatively impacts the surrounding neighbors. The proposed massing fails to meet the intent and purpose of the official plan, policy 4.1.5C. And now would you please go to attachment number 1, the frontal overlay of proposed development. And I'll speak to variance 2, the exterior wall height. The applicant's proposed front wall height is 22% higher, and the rear wall height is 10.7% higher than permitted exterior wall heights. This variance also is not minor in nature. This proposed development would tower over the neighboring homes and would impact their privacy and the use of their properties, and would cause significant shade on adjacent properties during the day. As you can see from the frontal overlay, this is attachment number 1, this proposed development is not within the prevailing character of the homes in the area. The proposal accommodates a larger floor space and again benefits only the applicants and negatively impacts the surrounding neighbors. It presents itself essentially as a 3-story home, which is not permitted in this neighborhood. I join our neighbors in requesting that you refuse this application. Thank you for this opportunity to address the committee. I would now like to turn it over to Tanya Baksh from the Residents Association, who will focus on the other variants in this application.
Thank you very much, Emily. Before you turn it over, are there any questions of Emily from the committee members? Seeing none.
Wait, I have I have a statement, not a question. And I just wanted to clarify that the variances before us, there is no variance for total height. The variance that we have is the main walls of the height, main wall height, which is different than total height. And main wall height just establishes where those walls meet the roof line. And the variance that we have before us is solely to permit that architectural, like, peek over the windows. So I just wanted to say there's no variance before us for the number of stories. It's well within the 2-story permission, and there's no variance for overall height being sought here. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Thank you, Amy, for that clarification. Tanya, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Tanya Baksh, and I currently reside with my family at 214 Oak Ridge Drive. This has been our home for over 20 years. I am speaking today as a concerned neighbor and an active member of the Cliffcrest Scarborough Village Southwest Residents Association Development and Planning Committee. I am also speaking on behalf of some residents who are not comfortable to speak in this public setting. The community believes that this house is not in keeping with the prevailing heights, massing, scale, and density of houses in our neighborhood, according to policy 4.1.5C. Our neighborhood consists mainly of bungalows to 1.5-story to 2-story homes with spacious front, back, and side setbacks. The community has become exhausted with overdevelopment throughout the neighborhood. This application is another example why so many neighbors are increasingly speaking out to oppose these egregious builds. Would you please pull up attachment 1, the frontal overlay included in the letter of objection from the Residents Association? Focusing on variance 3, the front yard setback for the balcony. The applicant's proposal will have an impact on the existing common street wall. The proposal would have a 1.83-meter projection from the existing street wall, which is a prevailing feature of the community, whereby there is a common shared sight line. The proposal accommodates the excessive gross floor area of the interior at the expense of the adjacent homes. Can you please pull up attachment number 4, which has the street view of Oak Ridge Drive, included in our letter of objection from the Residents Association? Thank you. From this elevation, you can see the impact this build will impose on the neighboring homes. This build is out of scale for this neighborhood and is not in keeping with the official plan. We do not believe that this proposed development meets the 4 tests for the variances to be approved by the COA. The 3 variances are not minor in nature. From the opposition received from the local neighbors, including the 2 adjacent immediate neighbors, the proposal is not desirable for the appropriate development of the land. This egregious development is not within the general intent of the city's generous zoning bylaws. The COA has always maintained that precedent is not and should not be of consideration with any application. It should also not be of consideration here, as many of the local overdeveloped properties within this community have never been well received. The community is becoming increasingly agitated through overdevelopment. On behalf of the Cliffcrest Scarborough Village Southwest Residents Association, we join our neighbors in requesting that you refuse this application. Thank you for the time to address the committee.
Thank you, Tanya. I would caution you that you are speaking on behalf of yourself, unless your association is incorporated, and you are not be able to speak on behalf of your corporation. But we do understand your comments, and we have seen a number of your concerns. Do any of the committee members have any questions? Or Tanya? Seeing none, can we move on to Janet? And Janet, would you please confine your comments to items that have not been previously addressed?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you. I'm the owner of 21 Oak Ridge Drive. And mainly, I just wanted to ask a question, I guess. Sorry, I've never been involved in any of these kinds of meetings before, so you can let me know if this is something that's dealt with later. But I'm wondering about the large tree that is on the boulevard. According to the plans, it looks that they will be cutting the driveway an extra 3.33 meters, which is approximately 11 feet. And I've eyeballed it. I haven't taken exact measurements, but it seems like that would bring it either right into the tree or right next to the tree. And I'm concerned about damage to the roots, and would that be a danger to the tree and possibly cause the tree to die? That's my main question.
Okay, thank you, Janet, for that question. Note that Urban Forestry has written a report, and there will be conditions if this application is approved, requiring Urban Forestry to take look at all trees on site to ensure that there is no damage. So there is a separate condition dealing with that tree if this application is approved. I have that as all the speakers. Mr. Nadine, do you wish to rebut any comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. I heard, numerous concerns from the member of the community and also from the association members that they are stating there will be, negative impact on the neighboring or adjacent properties. I don't see any. We are allowed to build a 33% of lot coverage. The proposed lot coverage is 30%. We're allowed to build even 0.9 or 0.3 on the garage side, a setback from the neighboring property. Our proposed is 1.41. So how is that making a negative impact on the immediate neighbors? There is no height, variance before the committee. The additional floor area, for the sake of, discussion, if we take it away for a second, the house footprint will be similar or even larger. So to me, this additional benefit, additional FSI will definitely, the homeowner will enjoy it, or they will use it more, um, better way. The rooms above the garage. If we don't build that room, everything is fine. But at least, he'll still be able to build the same footprint, same height, same kind of a messing, and a similar wall height or similar contemporary style home. So I don't see any impact on the neighboring properties by my client being, able to build a slightly larger home. If I refer to the same slide Tanya referred to, if we were to look at the uh, FSI of the existing homes, they're all underutilized. They're all 40 to 50% or 45% FSI. So we asking 0.58. We're not going to be the largest one on this street which have been approved or built. There are several examples where we're still way under. So I trust this argument helps to clear any concerns.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nadine. Are there any questions from the committee for the applicant?
Madam Chair, I have some questions.
Yes. Mohammed,
Naseem, I'm just wondering, I hear a lot of the concern is maybe towards the height, and I recognize that you're within the existing permissions for the height of the overall building, but is there any flexibility to sort of work with your neighbors to reduce the front wall height to be a little bit more in line with, the rear wall height? Like, could you bring that 8.54 down just to make it appear not as high in terms of the front wall? I understand why it's there, it's for those windows, but is there any ability or flexibility in your designs to accommodate that?
See, the windows are required as a part of the building code. For every bedroom, we have to have a 5%. Every living room, we have to have a 10%. So if we reduce the wall height further from, at least 7.75, we will not be able to build the, window in the bedroom. So that is my only concern.
Couldn't you just use a different shape window? Because right now I'm seeing them as being tall and skinny. If you were to make them sort of wider and not as tall, you could bring down the overall front wall height, right? So, with a different sort of window design, you may be able to accomplish that in an effort to try to work with your neighbors.
I totally, understand. The typical window height sill is about 3 feet and the top is, 7 feet. And that's what it is representing. So the top is about, 7 feet tall window, just above the, door height or at the same height of the second floor door. We can reduce maybe by 6 inches, but if we reduce that further, it'll look kind of, very ugly from the inside. A homeowner standing in his eye level the window is finishing. So I understand where we're trying to accommodate their concern or mitigate some of the concerns, but if we reduce it, we'll be in trouble according to the building code.
I'm just saying that the windows are quite large and it does appear to have some flexibility to move around with the height of those windows. I do think you would meet your building code if you reduce the height of those windows. That being said, I'm only suggesting this because from where I stand, and I don't know how my fellow committee members feel, I'm supportive of the, you know, FSI as well as the front yard. I do feel that those are minor numerically and don't have an impact. But height, meanwhile, height, you know, it doesn't appear to be the peaked roof, the traditional style front wall, and I can appreciate where your neighbors are coming from. And so I'm sort of leaning towards, you know, a partial approval where I wouldn't support your second variance to the main wall height for the front.
If we don't get that variance, we will not be able to build the way we have proposed it.
Exactly. I'm asking if there's flexibility in your design to not build how it's proposed.
Yes, I can request the committee to, from 8.54, if they wish to approve this, we can go for 7.75, which is
So
0.75 larger than.
To match the rear, have that.
To match the rear at the front too.
Okay.
Yes.
That would appease me because I mean right now it kind of appears like a flat roof because it's just this very strong linear edge right at the front, whereas the rear does appear to be a little bit more peaked and a little bit more like a mansard roof, and I think that would at least be more in keeping with what's happening on the streetscape, and that flexibility I appreciate, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mohammed, I believe you had a question as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, it was very much the same question which member M asked, and I appreciate. I was trying to find out the flexibility from the applicant, if they can work on the height, especially because that was the main concern which majority of the opposition spoke about that. Also, I feel there is a greater need of consultation. I wonder what Nadeem has been consulting with the neighbors, because I can see the immediate neighbors, 17 Oak Ridge Drive or 21 Oak Ridge Drive, these are the immediate neighbors. So they must have consulted with them beside that petition of 42. Referring to Mr. Shabir, clarification that most of these neighbors are from further area of 2 kilometers. I can see more than 50% are right on the Oak Ridge Drive. Only few of them are from Harvard Avenue or Windy Ridge. So it's very important that there should be a consultation, and what they are proposing should be matching into the geographical shape or the street culture. The neighbors' concern should be addressed. So Nadeem, my question to you directly. Of course, you are thinking about the flexibility of the height, which is a very good thing. But again, you have to bring back the neighbors on that point to understand. Have you done the consultation with these neighbors so far, and to what extent you are willing to have another round of consultation with them before putting considering this flexibility in your plan?
My client has reached out to several neighbors, like 14 neighbors, or perhaps may they have gone even further, and they were able to seek the support of the immediate neighbors. So I'm open to discussion, but reality is that the proposal is this proposal, the other committee member has, asked if there is a flexibility to reduce the wall height. We would be able to reduce up to 7.75 just to basically keep up whatever the building code requirement for the window area. So after that, if we were to, build as per whatever the other people are asking, or the association asking, why would we be coming to the committee for asking for any variance? So I guess I leave it with the committee for this consideration.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nadeem. As I understand it, you are willing to change your variance from a wall height of 8.5 to 7.75 meters, but you wish to retain all the other variances. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Committee, are any other questions? Okay. Are we ready to take this matter into our consideration?
Yes, Madam
Do I
Chair.
have
I'm
any
prepared.
comments?
I'm prepared to take this into committee.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, Madam Chair, since we are in the committee and I appreciate the applicant for thinking about the flexibility. So if this is going to be changed to the new heights, I think we should be there may be one option available of deferral of the matter rather than making that change at this spot. That could be my opinion.
In my perspective, Member Saeed, I would normally be supportive of that if it was going to affect the overall GFA and we weren't sure of the numbers. But the main wall height does not impact any of the other two variances, and so I don't see the need to defer it. You're just changing the main wall height. It's a pretty straightforward, simple change. I think that this is something that we can decide upon now. I understand there's a significant amount of opposition. However, with this additional change to reduce the main wall height, I do feel that it's now appropriate. I mean, the front yard setback balcony is very minor in compared to what is already permitted, which is 1.5 meters, and the FSI of only 0.08 is significantly less than many other things that we have approved. So, I'm satisfied with the upgraded change on variance 2. I have no further concerns, and I'm prepared to put forward a motion.
Do I have any other comments from committee? All right. Amy, would you like to proceed?
Yeah, sure. So I'll put forward a motion for approval of item number 5, subject to the revision of variance number 2 to permit a maximum height of both front wall and rear wall of 7.75 meters, whereas the bylaw requires 7 meters.
And
this is subject to, I think it's urban forestry conditions are the only other forest conditions. Yes.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Thank you, Mr. McKay.
Yes, Madam Chair, I would second that approval. I think that's an appropriate matter varying item number 2 about the height. So yes, I second that approval, subject to the urban forestry condition.
Thank you. All in support? All in opposition? Thank you. That matter carries. Thank you very much to the applicant and to the residents. We will now proceed with the next item on the agenda, and the chair will come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Macaulay. Just checking in. It is 1:50.
Yeah. Yes, could panel members discuss this, Madam Chair?
Yes, please. Yes, we are.
Yes. Just a little concerned. It's 10 to 2. I know, of course, that we had a late start due to technical problems, but panel members have generally been online since 9 a.m. this morning.
Sure.
So we should discuss what kind of break we should take and when. I'm open to anything.
Through the chair, the YouTube stream will, since we started at 11, the YouTube stream would probably go till about 2:45, 2:30, 2:45. So it's your call whether you want to take a bathroom break now and then maybe take a longer break if required.
After that?
After that, around 2:45. It's really the member's call.
Okay.
For you, Madam Chair, I am quite hungry, so it depends on how long our bathroom break would be now, but I do need some sort of sustenance.
Okay, so how about this? So the PM recording is up till 2:45?
The PM recording, sorry. Actually, I'll let my colleague discuss that.
Through the chair, the PM session will start at 2:30.
Oh, it'll start at 2:30.
It will start at 2:30, yes.
Okay.
So we have about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Okay, half an
If
hour.
you wish to take a break now and
Okay.
then come back.
Okay, so I thank you for that clarification. So, technically speaking, as well, I think a half an hour, 30-minute break would work out at this point. So, let's go for a 30-minute break if that's okay with the committee members, to allow some time to refresh and eat as.
Yes, through the chair, sorry for interrupting. But the participants that are viewing the proceedings of today through YouTube, please log out and log back in when we reconvene for the PM session. So you will have to search for the PM session for the Scarborough panel, just for those YouTube viewers only. Thank you.
So for the WebEx viewers, you stay on, stay on. We'll post something on the screen indicating that there'll be a 30-minute break. WebEx can just stay on. It's the YouTube viewers
Okay.
that will need to go on to log out and log into the PM session.
Okay, so that would be great if you can have something on the slide for the YouTube viewers to log out and reconnect through the PM session. For all the WebEx users, please stay online. We are going into a 30-minute break. So at this time, it's 1:55, so I would say safely 2:30, we will be back. At 2:30, we will be back. Okay, thank you very much for your patience today.